There she blows, and here she comes. Powerful Hurricane Fran is already hitting the mainland and will last for hours. Expected to punish worse the Carolinas and Virginia. Reports tonight from a team of CBS News correspondents and from our hurricane specialist, Brian Norcross, as Fran begins to wreck and raise havoc.
This is the CBS Evening News, with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. A major hurricane has begun smashing the East Coast. It is potentially one of the deadliest storms in years. Hurricane Fran is packing sustained winds of 115 miles an hour with higher gusts and swelling the ocean with a giant sea surge, plus sustained tides as much as 16 feet above normal. The view from space shows the eye of this hurricane about 80 miles off the Carolinas. It's moving north-northwest at about 16 miles an hour, but is expected to turn slightly more northward overnight. Hurricane warnings are up all along the mid-Atlantic coast. Hurricane-force winds are already raging on parts of the mainland. The worst are expected around midnight, somewhere just north of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We have CBS News correspondents positioned throughout the worst of the hurricane danger zone. We go first to Art Rascone in Myrtle Beach. Art?
Dan, what you see here and what we and the few people on this coastal front have been feeling are gusts of hurricane-force winds. They have been hitting us for some time. Now, the long continuous sea surge is of extreme danger, and combined with the torrential rains and the rising high tides as well, there could be some serious beachfront property damage to these areas. Now, we have already experienced some heavy rains. Additionally, as well, the sea surge is expected to climb perhaps 15, maybe 18 feet more. The sponge is already full here, and there is no room for the water to go. This area has received a great deal of rain recently, and all of this is adding already to a saturated ground. So major flooding, sea surge damage, that is what is moving into this area, Dan. And already within the past few hours, we have witnessed this sea here climb at least 3 to 4 feet. And no question, within the next couple of hours, it's going to be smashing into some of the beachfront properties. And no doubt we'll have to move this area as well. Dan?
Thanks, Art Rascone in Myrtle Beach. Further up the coast, CBS News correspondent John Roberts is in Wilmington, North Carolina, already feeling considerable impact from the hurricane's powerful winds. John?
Dan, this is the second time that Wilmington, North Carolina has been in the bullseye of a hurricane. Bertha back in July, and now Hurricane Fran. If it follows its projected path, the eye wall of Fran will come right up the Cape Fear River, and the combined forward motion of the hurricane as well as its winds will mean that the downtown Wilmington area will get sustained winds at around 130 miles an hour, which raises a great deal of potential for widespread damage both here and along the barren coastal areas. When the winds kick up to hurricane speed, anything that's not tied down could become a potentially lethal projectile. That's why anyone who is in the path of this hurricane should stay indoors and away from the windows. This afternoon on Carolina Beach, we saw a lot of homeowners who are out last-minute preparations trying to protect their homes against the winds of Hurricane Fran. They had been caught somewhat unawares by this storm, thinking that it was going to hit well south and west of here. Wilmington learned a lesson about the damage that a hurricane could do when Bertha came through here with 100-mile-an-hour winds back in July. But Hurricane Fran is a much bigger storm, much more intense storm. There is widespread potential for heavy wind damage here. And as the eye wall comes ashore again, supposed to be up the Cape Fear River, there is great potential for hurricane-spawned tornadoes, which many forecasters will agree is the most deadly and dangerous part of any storm. Dan?
John Roberts in Wilmington, North Carolina. Wind and water. Let's take a moment now to put this storm in perspective. Hurricanes are ranked according to strength on a scale of 1 to 5. Right now, Fran is a Category 3. 150 miles an hour winds. It would have to get to 130 to be a Category 4. By comparison, deadly hurricanes Hugo and Andrew were Category 4s, with their winds as high as 155 miles an hour. Now, for more about the potential of this hurricane, we turn again to one of our CBS News hurricane experts, Brian Norcross in Miami. Brian?
Dan, we're looking at a storm here, not as strong as you say as Hurricane Hugo and Hurricane Andrew, but we're looking at a very large storm. Hurricane Andrew, here's the eye, by the way, of Hurricane Fran right here, approaching Wilmington, North Carolina. Hurricane Andrew would have fit in just this part of Fran. Hurricane Hugo was about this wide. So we think that what's going to happen here is that from about Cape Fear, where the Cape Fear River is, where John Roberts was, on all the way up to Cape Hatteras, winds of 100 miles an hour or more will be experienced, and we'll get that storm surge throughout that area. Topsail Beach, Wrightsville Beach, all these areas threatened from this storm tonight. A very large storm, but not quite as strong as Hurricane Hugo 7 years ago.
Brian Norcross in Miami, thanks. Thousands of people were ordered to evacuate coastal areas as the storm approached. If anyone refused to leave, one local sheriff said, and I quote, "We ask for next of kin." CBS News correspondent Jane Robelo is with some of those who heeded the warning in Myrtle Beach. Jane?
That's right, Dan. The Red Cross has set up 11 shelters just here in the Myrtle Beach area alone, 100 shelters along the South Carolina and North Carolina coast. We are in the largest Red Cross shelter. It's at Socastee High School in Myrtle Beach, where they opened the doors at 9 o'clock this morning, and by 1 o'clock this afternoon, this place was filled to capacity. Now, right now, the 1,200 people who are staying here are having some supper. Last week, Edward was threatening this coastline, and in some small way, Edward may have actually done these people a favor. The Red Cross came in a week early, the emergency preparedness plans were all laid out, and maybe it even put these people in the mindset to take Fran more seriously when she blew up the coast. So as soon as they finish supper, they'll be taken upstairs, they'll be moved into hallways away from all windows, the safest place in the building, and that's where they're going to ride this storm out, Dan.
Below in Myrtle Beach, thanks. As the hurricane moves into shore, we can't overemphasize the potential damage and harm these storms can cause with both wind and water. Winds from a hurricane are felt long before the eye comes ashore. When the eye of Hurricane Fran was still 290 miles away, winds were clocked at 40 miles an hour. At 145 miles out, the winds were 75 miles an hour and more. Near the eye, sustained winds are 115 miles an hour, gusts higher. Fran's eye is expected to move inland near midnight. The strongest winds are north of the eye because of the hurricane's counterclockwise rotation. But the most dangerous effect of a hurricane is the tidal wave or sea surge. 9 out of 10 hurricane deaths are caused by the sea surge. This surge is created as the hurricane moves toward shore. The winds actually push a wall of water ahead of the storm's eye. Projections are that Hurricane Fran could generate a surge of up to 16 feet, almost as tall as a 2-story building. The water will rise like a fast high tide and will only slowly dissipate. Now, we're monitoring this hurricane. We'll have an update for you as the program goes along. Immediately ahead, the verdict in a major New York terrorist trial. And heart surgery for Boris Yeltsin opens a power vacuum in the Kremlin.
Heartburn medicines have been around for years. First came Tagamet, then Zantac, then Pepsid, but the newest, Axid, now in non-prescription strength as New Axid AR. So effective, it can prevent heartburn completely. And here's the proof. We gave heartburn sufferers spicy food like this, and many told us Axid AR prevented their heartburn. Not a little, not somewhat, but completely. New Axid AR, proven it can prevent heartburn completely. Good chili.
Frank said he'd really like to take a relaxing vacation this year. I've got just the place. Honey, when you're this relaxed, don't you feel more romantic?
Oh, it's been great, sweetheart.
Take your next vacation on Carnival. See any travel agent or call 1-800-CARNIVAL.
These Carnival cruises just keep getting better and better.
Like you, honey.
3 Middle Eastern men were convicted today in New York of conspiring to bomb U.S. airliners carrying thousands of people. A White House spokesman said President Clinton was delighted with the verdict, saying it sends the message that terrorists cannot hide from U.S. justice. Jacqueline Adams reports.
After 3 months of testimony, the jury took just 2 days to find Ramzi Ahmed Youssef and 2 others guilty of plotting to blow up a dozen American jetliners in the Far East. Youssef was also convicted of placing a bomb aboard a Philippines Airlines 747. In that December 1994 attack, 1 man was killed, but the pilot managed to make an emergency landing.
We felt it in the cockpit, a loud explosion.
Prosecutors call that bombing a dress rehearsal for a planned wave of attacks against American jetliners and a continuation of a terror campaign that began with the World Trade Center bombing almost 2 years earlier. Prosecutors claimed Youssef was trying to punish the U.S. for its support of Israel. Acting as his own attorney, Youssef argued that Philippine authorities had tampered with the evidence found in his Manila apartment to curry favor with the U.S. government.
Prosecutors believe Youssef left this country on the day of the World Trade Center bombing and not only supervised, but may have even helped mix the chemicals for that bomb. They hope to go to trial on that case in the fall. Jacqueline Adams, CBS News, New York.
A White House commission on airline security called today for advanced bomb detection devices at the busiest U.S. airports and a computer system to profile passengers. This commission was appointed after the crash of TWA Flight 800. Its recommendations, if implemented, could cost billions of dollars. The mother of a TWA crash victim told Congress today of her experience on the help families receive and don't receive after an airline disaster. Listen to the testimony from Cynthia Cox of Mortonsville, Pennsylvania, whose daughter Monica was killed.
When we picked up Monica's personal effects, we had to open all of the car windows on the way home. The smell of aviation fuel was overpowering. You cannot imagine the horror of discovering notes from the medical examiner's office, which were included. After reading the notes, we needed to view her personal effects to confirm that we had indeed received our child. In the first bag, we found 2 items. They did belong to our daughter. We were horrified when we opened the second bag. This contained clothing that did not belong to our daughter, as well as a piece of human flesh.
230 people were killed in the crash. As of tonight, 211 bodies have been recovered.
It's your first day, you try to hide your fear, but you'll be okay, Mom, in your new career.
Nothing gets you ready for a big day like those 2 scoops, only in Kellogg's Raisin Bran.
I remember when it was me, starting out instead. Go get 'em, Mom! You're 2 scoops ahead.
And speaking of 2 scoops, now when you buy 1 double cone at Baskin-Robbins, you'll get another one free with a coupon from Kellogg's 2 Scoops Raisin Bran. See package for details.
We're here with Vlad the Impaler.
How you doing?
Who's still in the dark ages and won't switch to Gladlock zipper bags.
I'm an old-fashioned guy.
Well, Vladster, what if we reupholster your coffin here with this garlic soup in either your bag or the Gladlock bag with the yellow and blue make green seal? Your bag doesn't have a green seal.
Yeah. Why resist progress? Use the Gladlock.
When it really counts, no pun intended. Get Gladlock. Now, let's talk thick, juicy steaks.
Let's not.
How about chops?
All right, that's good. That chops is good.
This precision instrument must search for tenacious deposits that cling perilously close to your fragile gums. A procedure for gingivitis. Fortunately, gingivitis may be avoided. Use Listerine. Gum disease is caused by germs. Listerine kills them. It's the brand, the only brand clinically proven to help prevent gingivitis. All procedures should be as easy as this, the power of prevention. Listerine.
The fury of Hurricane Fran will report from Ground Zero. Plus, meet the remarkable kids of the class of 2000. A double edition of 48 Hours at a special time tonight.
New fighting broke out in northern Iraq today between rival factions of Kurds backed by Iraqis and Iranians. But the latest U.S. punishment of Saddam Hussein for killing Kurds appears to be over, at least for now. National Security Correspondent David Martin begins our coverage from the Pentagon.
Iraqi tanks stood idle today as the CIA confirmed Saddam Hussein has called off his offensive against the Kurds, effectively ending this latest confrontation.
We are seeing the withdrawal of the mechanized and armor units from the Kurdish territories in northern Iraq back to their garrisons.
Saddam paid a heavy price for that offensive. 14 air defense sites destroyed by American cruise missiles, a no-fly zone extended to the suburbs of his capital.
We are in his center. We are on the outskirts of Baghdad. It's embarrassing, and it restricts his military.
Saddam is making the best of it, showing off damage to civilian areas and claiming it was done by U.S. missiles. This crater is a case in point. But UN officials in Iraq have told American intelligence they witnessed the Iraqis setting off the explosives which created it.
Saddam's hope is to see the coalition against him fall apart. It's true the U.S. strikes were unpopular with some U.S. allies, but those are disagreements over tactics. No one disagrees with the strategy of keeping Saddam bottled up in Baghdad. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
In the Kurdish region of northern Iraq, where Kurds, Turks, Persians, Arabs, and others have been fighting for centuries, all sides were claiming victory today. CBS News correspondent Alan Pizzi is on the scene along the border of Turkey and Iraq.
In Iraq, they staged Saddam Hussein's ritual victory celebrations. But U.S. planes have met no resistance on their patrols over Iraq, and that surely is winning. On the ground, the Kurdish Democratic Party can claim at least a token triumph, control of the town of Arbil. The last American soldiers monitoring the Kurdish protected zone pulled back to Turkey on Tuesday. But no one seems to need their help right now anyway. The only thing really moving is business as usual. Most of these Turkish trucks have special tanks welded under them to bring out Iraqi oil, a defiance of UN sanctions that makes money for Baghdad and Kurds alike, even as they kill each other. Continued fighting between Kurdish factions is made to order for Saddam Hussein. As long as he stays out of it, Washington has little choice but to do the same. And in Saddam's twisted logic, that adds up to victory for him. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, on the Turkey-Iraq border.
Bob Dole today urged President Clinton to postpone next week's elections in Bosnia, calling them a, quote, fraud with an American stamp of approval, unquote. Meanwhile, more evidence today that Dole is having serious problems with his campaign, including selling his main campaign message. Phil Jones has the polls and the facts. Phil?
Dan, with 2 months to go before the election, Americans apparently doubt Bob Dole's commitment to the centerpiece of his campaign, the 15% tax cut. In Ohio today, he tried again to convince voters.
We're going to balance the budget and cut taxes at the same time, and it can be done.
Yet, of those interviewed in a new CBS News New York Times poll, only 23% think Bob Dole would cut taxes by 15% if he were elected. In fact, 64% say he would not cut taxes. Today, the media advisors responsible for Mr. Dole's TV ad image were forced out, one day after this latest effort to sell Dolenomics.
The Dole plan: cut wasteful spending, balance the budget, a tax cut of $1,600 for the typical family.
To make matters even worse for Mr. Dole, more than half of the Republicans interviewed in our poll said they didn't think their candidate would live up to his promise. Perhaps Bob Dole will just have to say, read my lips. Dan?
Thanks, Phil. Former Clinton business partner Susan McDougal is quoted as saying now that she will go to jail Monday. A federal judge gave her until then to tell a grand jury what she knows about President Clinton and the Whitewater case. In an ABC broadcast interview, McDougal said she won't answer the questions because she doesn't want to, quote, ruin people's lives.
Looking for something?
Yeah, that dime from Sprint's long distance plan.
Having trouble finding it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's because depending on when you call, the Sprint cents rate isn't always a dime. It could be a quarter or 65 cents on calls to Canada.
Oh.
Try AT&T True Reach Savings. On average, most people can save more than with Sprint cents when they spend $25 a month on calls in the U.S. Plus, you'll always save more on calls to Canada.
Wow, I found what I'm looking for.
That's your true choice, AT&T.
It was midnight. I'm hurting. I can't sleep, but I'm worried about taking something. Is it okay? What am I going to feel like in the morning? Finally, I try Tylenol PM. It stops my pain, helps me sleep. The Tylenol PM did the job. Next morning, I'm up with the sun and I feel great. It was our best run in weeks. A great way to start the day.
Rest easy. It's Tylenol PM.
Cool, crisp, fresh. Discover the feeling of Fix-It-Dent Fresh. It's a strong, long hold. A secure, fresh approach to wearing dentures. And the cool, fresh sensation gives you the confidence to live life without limits. Try a fresh approach.
You're ready to quit. Great. Now, which patch? Single strength Nicotrol? But that means one single step. If you're not comfortable with that, you may want Nicoderm CQ. CQ's a 3-strength program. You start with the highest strength and gradually step down till you free yourself of nicotine. And gradual is the method doctors prefer 4 to 1. Nicoderm CQ. The power to calm, the power to comfort, the power to quit successfully.
In the eye of the storm, Hurricane Fran. Will it be more devastating than Hugo? Complete coverage live from the scene. Tracking Hurricane Fran tomorrow on This Morning.
Russia's Boris Yeltsin went on television today to confirm that he has heart problems and announced that he will undergo surgery this month. Our health correspondent, Dr. Bob Arnott, has more about Yeltsin's operation and the risks.
The Russian president declared today that his heart surgery will take place in Moscow, performed by Russian doctors.
I don't want to go abroad. Our cardiologists in Moscow are capable of doing such heart operations.
Yeltsin's heart disease is not severe enough to restrict mild exercise or cause shortness of breath, but has curtailed the vigorous activity he displayed during most of the election campaign. CBS News has learned that the procedure will be performed at the Chezov Cardiac Research Center. Dr. Alexander Shaktovich, who has worked there, learned that a diagnostic test called an angiogram has already been completed.
My understanding is that it is bypass surgery that is being recommended.
Yeltsin will have the advantage of state-of-the-art equipment and well-trained Russian doctors. However, their relative lack of experience compared to American doctors means that the chance of a complication or death will be somewhat higher. Dr. Bob Arnott, CBS News, New York.
Coming up next, the class of 2000, young Americans facing some grown-up realities, plus all the latest on the hurricane.
Let's go. If you thought the Publishers Clearinghouse Prize Patrol would never show up in your neck of the woods, think again.
I don't believe this!
Because starting October 7th, the Prize Patrol will surprise a new winner in every state.
I'm in shock.
That's 50 winners in 50 states. Yeah! With prizes up to $100,000. Someone from your state is guaranteed to win.
Oh my God! I hit it!
Enter the Publishers Clearinghouse Sweepstakes today, and the winner could be you.
Hot dog!
Time is on my side. Yes, it is. Time.
People today are living longer and healthier lives. And at Nature Made, we like to think we've been a part of it. As the makers of vitamin and mineral supplements that are recommended by pharmacists more than 1,000 times a day. Nature Made, recommended by pharmacists, made for a lifetime.
The most rewarding relationships are the ones that grow with time. It's the same for those of you who choose AT&T, because you understand that the true rewards only come from a lasting relationship. Introducing the new AT&T True Rewards program. Rewards you can get right away, every day. It's our way of saying thanks just for being an AT&T customer. The new True Rewards program. It's one of the rewards of a lasting relationship. That's your true choice, AT&T.
AT&T, your true choice, presents the Class of 2000.
New high school freshmen, the class of 2000, may dress and talk differently and listen to different music than their parents did, but the two generations have at least one thing in common: fear of what the future may hold for them financially. Tonight, Paula Zahn shows you how some young Americans are trying to fight that fear and prepare for tomorrow.
Put new buttons on, put new padding for the buttons.
It's Saturday morning, and like so many other kids in the class of 2000, Andrew Lee is hard at work.
I just file movies, do stuff with the computer, sell pagers, change cases, cell phones, whatever.
Andrew's working not because he wants to, but because he has to.
The trouble started about a year ago when my dad's business closed down. He has a furniture business, and then the whole business just closed down because there's no one coming in.
These days, Andrew's father has a half interest in this Laserdisc and car phone store in suburban San Francisco.
I hope we can understand who can help me out by
helping at my work or helping me by not spending so much,
It's taught me that nothing's really reliable, that anything can happen, no matter what. One day you're at the top and the next day you're eating out of a trash can or something.
Those words may sound bleak, coming from a 14-year-old, but sadly, they are typical. The MTV-watching, sneaker-conscious kids who make up America's class of 2000 worry far more than you might think about what the next century will bring. Jobs, the economy, making a decent living are among the teenagers' greatest concerns. And here in San Francisco, they're doing something about it.
You did it exactly right. I didn't explain it enough to you. Okay?
What do we give our youngsters to go out and be marketable? We give them these kinds of skills that are aligned with the computer industry.
Brenda Howell is principal of Burton High, a showcase inner-city public school in South San Francisco. The no-nonsense curriculum demands these kids learn a second language, learn to write well, and learn to use the internet. All skills Howell says they'll need in order to compete in our global high-tech economy. How real is the concern among students here that there might not be jobs when they graduate?
It's very real. It's very, very real. When you see parents stressing over the idea that I want my child to have a better life than I have, and will there be jobs there, that gets transmitted to the child.
Your dad's going through a tough time. He's leaning on you right now to help him out. Does that ever frustrate you?
Yeah, actually it does, because I don't want to work or take that many responsibilities. When we just started out, it was fun, but now I just want to go out and be with my friends.
I want him, to keep his innocence, childhood innocence, for as long as possible.
For these kids, keeping a sense of innocence and optimism may be the hardest job as the realities of the 21st century come bearing down. I'm Paula Zahn in San Francisco with the class of 2000.
Updating now the assault on the East Coast, which is underway by powerful and dangerous Hurricane Fran as we speak. The storm's wind and rain are pounding ever more so the coast of the Carolinas as the eye moves closer to shore. At last report, the very center was about 80 miles offshore, moving in at 60 miles an hour, but expected to turn slightly to the north overnight. Highest sustained winds, still about 115 miles an hour, very dangerous. Hurricane warnings are up all along the coast, with the climax expected around midnight, somewhere around Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, or Wilmington, North Carolina. Let's check in with correspondent John Roberts, who is there in Wilmington. John?
Dan, we're approaching that point in Hurricane Fran that you know all too well, where you have to start bracing yourself against the first of the hurricane force winds that started coming in about 5 minutes ago. We've started losing power here in the Wilmington area. Some of the streetlights have gone out. Power in the hotel has just gone out. And the eye wall of Hurricane Fran expected to come up the Cape Fear River if it continues on its current track. Combined with the forward motion of the hurricane, the winds will be around 130 miles an hour when the eye wall gets here. The potential for a lot of damage. Dan?
It's going to be a very long night there. We'll be tracking the impact of the hurricane all during the night, and in a special edition of 48 Hours, please mark starting at 9 Eastern Time, and then following that at 10 Eastern Time, 48 Hours reports on the class of 2000. It's going to be a big night. Our hurricane coverage starts at 9 o'clock, then the class of 2000 follows at 10 on 48 Hours. For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. I'll see you again soon on 48 Hours.
CBS News. There's more to This Morning on CBS.